actually sketched out what this could look like on a napkin, a piece of paper. I can't remember which now, but it was one or the other. And I said, we need something like this. We talked about it. We didn't know when it was going to come to fruition, but it did sooner than I ever could have imagined it would. And for that, I'd like to extend a special thank you to Allison Williams. Thank you. I also had the great pleasure and honor of working with her on the Arkansas Women's Commission in 2022. I was appointed to that commission by Governor Hutchinson, and for me, it was a really great pleasure and a privilege to be a part of something that was so history-making and still deeply important and impactful in Arkansas, even today. We saw a need with this program, and thankfully, we were able to fill a need by getting this program off the ground. And so I'm just deeply impressed by the caliber of women we have in this program. I personally have been humbled by your experiences, your intellect, your leadership abilities. I've learned from you. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that and to share this space with you. And I feel very confident that you all are going to leave here today. You are already strong leaders. You're going to leave here even stronger. And you're going to leave here with friendships you didn't imagine you were going to have. You're going to leave here with connections and networks that you didn't know you were going to have. And I think, and I know, I don't think, I know that you're going to go out and continue to do the good work that you've been doing. So I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for allowing someone like me who has adopted Arkansas as her home state. I'm a native South Carolinian, but I've adopted Arkansas as my home state. I've lived here for 21 years. But I want to thank you for all that you're going to continue to do in your communities to make them better places for all of us across the state of Arkansas, and also for the young women and other women leaders that you're going to be working with, that you're going to be bringing up behind you. So congratulations to you, many blessings to you, and continue doing the hard work that you've been doing. Thank you.
Testing. Oh, we're still on. Good, good. You know, when we need to be articulate, we bring up Dr. Jones Branch. And then we bring up me. So I'm so happy to be here, and congratulations to all of you. But what I'm going to do real quickly is go through some acknowledgments. Allison Williams was already mentioned, but we would like to thank former Governor Asa Hutchinson and Allison Williams for helping us get this started with funding. And I know the class heard from you earlier in the year, but thank you for being here with us today. I'd also like to thank Arkansas State University and our Chancellor for his support of this program. He himself was involved with getting us the funding, and so we are appreciative of him. The ASU system, and Shane Broadway is back with us. We appreciate them for hosting us today. Also want to say a special thanks to Dr. Jones Branch and Cari White, who we all know couldn't be with us today, for working with me this year and continuing on until the next year. Mostly I want to recognize each of you and for everything that you put into this year. Allison and I were talking a little bit earlier about, you know, what might keep someone from applying for this program, and I'm like, what's the normal female thing? It's childcare, it's responsibilities at home, and it's hard to be away. And so I recognize what a commitment you made, and I appreciate all of you for it. I've grown, I have a whole lot of new friends up and down the Delta region, and each of you do too. So thank you for participating. And then more importantly than that, I want to recognize your family, your friends, and your colleagues who joined us today, because I know that you had to fill in for these ladies while they were attending our class. And so thank you for being with us today. We appreciate you too. And next I'm going to introduce our keynote speaker for today. Natalie grew up in New Madrid, Missouri, which is a part of the Delta. It's just the Missouri Delta. Moved to Arkansas in 1999 to attend Arkansas State University. Graduating in 2003 with a Bachelor's of Science degree, an emphasis in public relations, and minor in political science, she had dreams of working in politics. Natalie moved to Little Rock in 2003. She worked on a congressional campaign and then went to work in the state capitol for the House of Representatives. Little Rock became her home. In 2005, she met her husband, Wynn, and although they became friends, they didn't begin dating until 2010. They were married in 2011 and had their twin boys in 2013. Natalie's focus changed from politics to family, and she took up some interests that Wynn was already involved in. Together, they chaired the Envoys Rockstar Lounge event, benefiting the Winthrop P. Rockefeller Cancer Institute. And by the way, I don't think this is here, but we're actually in the Rockefeller building, and this used to be his apartment before it was transformed into the ASU system office. She also joined the University of Arkansas Foundation Board and the THEA Board. Did I say that right? For those in East Arkansas. She developed the Women Helping Women Art Project in 2020 and helped curate more than 75 pieces from Arkansas female artists. The project, with 100% of the proceeds going back to the artists, placed beautiful art on the wall of the Winthrop P. Rockefeller Cancer Institute Breast Center. This project will be a permanent collection and is still one of Natalie's favorite projects. She loves projects. I told her next year we may need to have her come and talk about projects when we first get started. In 2010, Natalie and Wynn were slated to chair the Gala for Life, the biggest fundraising event benefiting the Winthrop P. Rockefeller Cancer Institute. However, when COVID happened, Natalie and Wynn developed the Be a Part of the Cure Telethon. This project stayed relevant as COVID moved into its second year, raising almost $900,000 for cancer research. This past September, Natalie and Wynn were finally able to chair the Gala for Life. They were able to raise more than $1 million, and the money was dedicated to bone marrow research. Natalie has become passionate about making the world around her a better place. Whether it's raising money and awareness for cancer care or volunteering with her now 11-year-old sons, she volunteers on the Little Rock Open Tennis Tournament Committee and plays tennis on several USDA teams. Natalie loves to work on new projects and help others. However, her biggest accomplishment will always be the family and life that she and Wynn have built together. Please join me in welcoming Natalie Rockefeller.
Well, good afternoon. When Andrea asked me to come and speak with you ladies, I said, can you please tell me what this program is about? And when she told me, I thought, why am I not in this program? Why am I speaking instead of being involved in it? As Andrea said, I grew up in Southeast Missouri. My dad is a farmer and a partial owner of a co-op cotton gin. My mom is the director for the New Madrid County Port Authority. She was the first woman to be a port director. So her port's on the Mississippi River, and the first female in several states. So I think I may have learned some of my leadership skills from her. She worked with a lot of men, which she really enjoyed. Now there's a lot of women in that field, so she's not alone anymore. So I grew up in an agricultural community and in the Delta of Missouri. I went to ASU because we were a farm family, and ASU was a school I could go to and not have to pay out-of-state tuition because I was born in Jonesboro while my parents were both at ASU. So when my dad came to me and said, farming's not great, and I really need you to go somewhere that we can afford so I don't have to take out a loan for your education, I said, well, okay, I can do that. And he said, after a year, if you want to go somewhere else, you can go somewhere else. And after that 1 year, I was so ingrained in ASU, there was no way I was going to leave. I was involved in so many organizations after my first year. So I loved my years at ASU. There's part of me that wish I would have stayed there and got my master's, maybe my doctorate, but I don't think my parents would have wanted to continue paying for my education. So I got a bachelor's. So when I moved to Little Rock to work on a congressional campaign, I had full intentions of being involved in politics. Not the same side of the aisle that my husband's family is involved in politics. So when I met him at the gym, and we flirted for about 6 months, and I finally found out who he was. I was shocked that I didn't know him because he was Republican and I'd always worked for Democrats. So I kind of gave up some of my political dreams when we got married because I didn't want to be the token Democrat Rockefeller in the family. So, I'm very quietly involved in a respectful way to his family. But when we got married, we wanted to have kids right away because we were in our 30s. We both waited until later to get married, and so we ended up having twins. And they were born 8 weeks early on my husband's birthday. So I've never gotten him a birthday present since then. He's got 2 boys for his birthday. That's really not true. I have gotten him stuff. But several years ago, I was invited to Facebook for the International Women's Day, which was an incredible experience. I thought it was a scam. When they were emailing me, asking me to come, I was like, I don't think so. And I was just deleting it. Finally, they called me. And then I called my attorney and said, is this legit? And he said, I think it really is. So I got to go out to Facebook, and so on my, where we had a bunch of meetings and we had lunch with Sheryl Sandberg, and my little nameplate that they printed out for me said Natalie Rockefeller fundraiser. And they were so apologetic. We are so sorry. That should say fundraiser, and we misspelled it. And I was like, that's actually perfect because I would prefer to be a fundraiser than a fundraiser. And so anytime someone says, how should we introduce you? It's something I'm like, volunteer and fundraiser sounds good to me. So I know when Andrea introduced me, we said a lot about the Winthrop P. Rockefeller Cancer Institute, and that is something that we're very involved in, but we're involved in a lot of other things too. When I was pregnant with my boys, we were involved with Women and Children First, and if you guys aren't familiar with that, it's an organization here in Little Rock for battered and abused women, and I volunteered there while I was pregnant because there wasn't a whole lot I could do because I was ginormous. And I taught resume building and interview skills because I knew that if a woman who had left a situation that was dangerous could get a job and support herself, she wouldn't have to go back to that situation. And I felt like that was one of the most important tools that you could have in your toolbox, is to be self-supportive. So one day while I was there, I met with several women, and we'd gone through their resumes and put them all together and gotten ideas of where they might go apply for jobs. Well, one day there was a young lady that came in. She was really young. She was younger than me, and she had physical signs of what she had been through. And she had her glasses. She was holding them because they didn't have arms, so she was trying to hold them up to read. And I knew there was a lot going on, but I also didn't feel like she wanted to be there. I know she had a young son, and she was concerned with where he was at in the building, and there was just a lot of distraction. And when I left that day, I thought, I didn't reach her. This didn't work. And how can I change my approach? What do I need to do different? So I took the notes home that she had given me of the places that she had worked at Target, at an ice cream shop. I mean, she was young. She didn't have a whole lot of job experience. And I went to the ice cream shop website, which was local, and looked at their job opportunities to see what they needed in employees, and I built her resume from that. And then I went to Target, and I found the job that she had at Target and what that required, and I built her resume from that. And so 2 days later, I took her resume back to her, and I sat down with her, and she came in her pajamas, and it was much like the atmosphere from 2 days before that. And she read through it, and she just fell apart. And she said, you made this whole thing? This makes me sound like I could get a job. And I said, you can get a job, and you should if that's what you want. And that was the last time that I saw her in person. And I left that day and I thought, maybe that was a better approach. Maybe that will work. So through the organization, I got a card from her a year later. She had gotten a job with Walmart. She had worked her way up. She and her son had not gone back to that situation. She was very happily living in Little Rock. And I've never seen her, and I couldn't even tell you her name. But it was so impactful for me. And I thought, I made her resume, and it helped. It actually might have made her situation better. And so that was one of those things where it changed how I felt about what I could do to help others. Because up until that point, I kind of thought, well, I'm Wynn's wife, you know, people will want me to come and show up and stuff because I'm married to him. But I don't just have to be married to him. I can also be myself. And so that was kind of the point for me then. So I stayed involved in stuff that he was involved in because it made it easier for us to go to meetings together and lunches together. He's a handsome date, so I like going to stuff with him. But so we were in the middle of COVID, and we had started working on the Gala for Life, and we were excited that we were finally going to do it because we'd been to him for years. And we had just gotten a new director at the Cancer Institute, and he said, well, I think we'll still have a gala. I don't think this health situation is going to be that big of a deal. And I'm like, you're a good doctor. And I'm not, and I think it's a big deal. So we pivoted, and we did a pivot, and we did this telethon. And at the time, he says, so telethon, like it's on all day, and people are dancing and, you know, juggling. And I was like, yeah, no, we'll just do commercial breaks. So while people were watching Channel 7 that day, whenever it went to commercial, it went live to us. And Renee Shapiro was there, and she was telling what we were doing, and we were taking calls. And I mean, let's face it, at the time, none of our kids were in school. We were all at home, and we were watching to see what the governor was going to tell us every day about how things were going and what was going to be shut down or what might open. So we were there. We had our audience. So it worked out great. Well, so then my boys are 7 at the time, and it was time for their wellness check at their pediatrician's office that summer, and I was terrified because I hadn't been to Walmart without a full hazmat suit on to buy groceries. And they hadn't been around anybody except for myself and my husband. We moved to our lake house. We were completely isolated. We took it very serious. So I have to take them to the pediatrician's office, and they're gonna wear a mask, which is fine, not a big deal. But are they gonna take it off in the restroom? Are they gonna set it on the counter? Is it gonna get COVID germs on it? Are they gonna put it back on their face? I was panicking. So, you know, and things were still really serious. You know, people were still passing away. I mean, it was still critical. So I made him a mask necklace. That's what they called it. I took 2 lobster claws and a piece of fishing line, and I put some beads on it, and I put some little beads with their initials on it and all their favorite colors, and we clipped it to either side, and they wore it around their neck when they took it off. Super basic. So we go to the pediatrician's office, and so my sons are Wynn and Jackson, and Dr. Strong says, Jackson, what? That's nice. Where'd you get that? And he goes, my mom made it. If you want one, they're $10. I went, no. Well, I'll drop one off. They're not $10. So we get in the car, and my husband is like so embarrassed. And Jackson said, well, we should sell these. People would buy these. And I said, we made these with fishing line, baby. I don't think anybody's gonna buy these. And so little Wynn says, I think people would buy them. I think we should sell them. So now I'm thinking, well, we got a side hustle during COVID. We can make these necklaces. But we also already had a text to give set up for the telethon, which was about 4 months out. So we decided that we would make like 10 of them, take a picture of them, post them on Facebook, and put the text to give information and say, if you'd like these, we'll mail them to you if you'll text to give to the Cancer Institute for the telethon. Okay, that sounds like a great idea. So we sold all 10 of them in like 3 minutes. And then I realized we had like 80 more offers, and like all these people were texting into my inbox, and we want one, and we want him to say this, and my granddaughter wants these colors. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have to pause this because we don't have enough hands to make all of these necklaces. So from, I guess about June until October, we had mask necklaces, and every day it was like, you have your red solo plate, there's your beads, count them out, we've got TV on, make them, you gotta make 5 right now. I mean, it was like, but this was their idea, so they were involved in it. They raised almost $10,000 for the Cancer Institute that went just to text to give, so we never touched any money. We mailed them to, I think, 17 states. I mean, Facebook is a great platform if you're using it for fundraising. We had a couple of stores in Little Rock, including Barbara Jean, which was really nice of him to bring all of our junk in there for us, where people could stop and pick up their orders if they made an order with us. So my kids were 7, and they raised almost $10,000. And I helped, and my husband helped, but it was their idea and their concept. And once things kind of opened back up, we took them to the Cancer Institute, and they gave them a little plaque and told them thank you, and that was a really special moment for them. But it also showed them that even at 7 years old, they could do something and they could make an impact. And so now they have all kinds of ideas, some of which are not feasible, but they want to help people, and they see how important it is to help others. So we got through COVID, we did some other things, and then we finally got to chair the gala this year, which was, a big deal. And we did promise the board that if another pandemic started, we would never sign up to chair the gala ever again. We would take our names off of it from here on out. We focused on cancer survivors and family members and loved ones of cancer patients who have lost their battle. It was very impactful, and it was the first time that we had raised $1 million at the event, and leading up until the event, and a real $1 million, not a we raised this much, but then we got this little secret special gift over here to get us to $1 million. We raised an actual $1 million. It was the first time I think that we've done it since maybe like 2014 or 15, but then I found out it was the last time since we had an open bar at the event, so that helps because we had an open bar, so I think that helped us. But so during kind of towards the end of COVID, my good friend Dr. Bryant Smith, who runs the breast clinic or Women's Breast Center at the Cancer Institute, called me and said, the new facility's done, and I would love to take you to show it to you before we open it to patients. And I said, I'd love to see it. So their facility that I usually would go to for mammograms was like the art looked like maybe from the Holiday Inn, like circa 1985, and the furniture probably left over from other places, and new clinics got new furniture, and then they got all the old furniture. And it was right down the hall from a food court, so it always kind of smelled like tacos when you went in there, and it was just really gross. And so this new place was like a spa, and the women designed every aspect of it. So one of the things that bothered them was that when you're in your doctor's office and the chair's rubbed against the wall and it's rubbed the paint off, so they did jump seats that just fold down so that wouldn't happen. I mean, clearly these are things that women thought of. When you walk in the dressing room, it lights up for you, it lights up the whole space, and the makeup, like the light around the mirror is very flattering. They went to a lot of trouble. And so I'm walking through this space thinking, this is incredible. But there's no color, there's no art, it's beautiful, but it needs something. So we walked through, and kind of like the story I heard earlier, that this group that you guys are in was hatched on a napkin in a discussion of why do we not have a leadership for just women. So that's kind of how this happened. We walked through the space, and I said, we need good art, and she said, we can't afford it. And I said, well, what if we get people to buy it? And I didn't want to ask artists to donate because they get hit up all the time to donate stuff, and that's a small business owner. They should have the right to sell their products and not have to donate them. And I said, well, I'll buy something if I can put a plaque on it and dedicate it to my grandmother who lost her battle with cancer. And she said, I like that idea. And I said, what if we only used Arkansas female artists? That's it, because it's a women's space. And she said, so kind of like women helping women. And I said, I think we just found the name. So I started an Instagram page, and if you ever go look at it, it's terrible because I couldn't get what I wanted. So it kind of looks like WHW Wart or WH Wart Project, but it's supposed to be WHW Art Project. So we reached out to 5 female artists that I knew, and we said, please reach out to your friends too, because I'm not an artist. I don't know anything about art. I have stuff that's been sitting against the wall in my house for 6 years that I haven't hung because I'm not sure if that's the right spot for it. I don't know anything about how you sell art or how you store it or how you insure it, but I like pretty stuff and I like the space, and I thought, if I were told today you have breast cancer, would I remember what was hanging on the wall in the space where I was at? Probably so. So it should be something nice and something that the woman will remember. So these 5 women, we decided we weren't gonna go to art galleries. We weren't gonna take things that had already been for sale. We wanted fresh, creative pieces just for this space. So they made a few pieces. 2 of the pieces were $4,500. But I told them, set your price. This is your work, you set your price. So they did, and I thought, I don't know if I can sell a $4,500 piece of art, but I'm gonna give it a try. So I posted, I think it was 8 pieces, and we'd been working on everything for about 3 months. I went and took a 1-hour tennis lesson, and when I finished, I looked at my phone, and all 8 pieces had sold, including 2 pieces that were $4,500 a piece. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was floored. So we sold 76 pieces total that were just over $100,000. And like I think Andrea said this earlier, every penny went back to the artist. So if you bought a painting from me, if you said on Facebook, I want this piece, and I confirmed it, and I said, this is your piece, I sent you that artist Venmo. And once you Venmo the artist the full amount, she delivered it to a place that we were partnered with that would hold our pieces until they helped us install them. Because I knew not to give myself a hammer and nails and think I should put these things on the wall. And we needed locking mechanisms so that smaller pieces couldn't be taken off and, gently put in someone's handbag and taken home. So everything had to be locked up. So the project lasted roughly 2.5, 3 years. And I noticed there was a little girl that was in the boys' school, and she left the school. She came back. Her mom was one of our artists, and her mom called me and said, you just paid for tuition for my daughter for next semester, so thanks for that. And I mean, that was big. That was another one of those moments, like that young lady holding her glasses on, where I thought, this is not how I started out for this project to work, but it worked. And all of the women that were involved, all of the pieces of art, every single thing was paid for. Every single thing was done the way they said it was gonna be done. Every single woman did what they said they were gonna do. The project ran so smooth. There was nothing negative that happened. Everything just was kind of like magic. And no offense to the gentlemen that are in the room, but I think that's because it was a lot of women in charge and involved in it, and they knew how important this was and how important this space was. And I think maybe for a while it was several a week, but now it's kind of down to one every couple of weeks. I'll get a text message from someone, and sometimes it's come from someone else and someone else who finally got it to me with a selfie saying, I got my first mammogram today, and here's the artwork that was in my space where I was at. And I think that's just really cool. And later I found out that because these artists were now in a permanent collection, they were able to increase their prices on their artwork because they could put that they have a permanent collection somewhere. So that's really cool too. So it was definitely one of my favorite projects that I've ever been involved in. So in closing, I have no idea how long I've been up here. I've never been asked to be a keynote speaker. This is the first time, you can probably tell. Hopefully I'll get better at it. When Andrea asked me to come and speak with you guys, I started thinking a lot about the projects that I've worked on, and the awareness that I've helped raise and the money. And I read through your yearbook pages. I got a digital copy of it. And I do sit on the Thea Foundation board, and I think there's quite a few educators in here, so you guys probably know what Thea Foundation is. But I read Tessa's bio, and I thought, that's something that we have in common, and we don't know each other at all. Dr. Grady, where's Dr. Grady? Is she okay, Dr. Grady. So I saw your program, Beautiful Beyond Sight, and you're empowering young women. I mean, that's hugely important. I wish that I would have had something like that when I was in high school or grade school. I didn't have that. I didn't really get into any of that until I was in college at ASU, until I started really I went to a school with a lot more boys than girls when I was in grade school and high school, and I didn't really know the power that I had until I got into college and I had to do everything on my own without my parents. So reading through your all's bios, I was hugely impressed, and I thought a lot about the people that support me. I have a very patient husband. He's incredibly patient and so supportive, and we do tons of also have this really strong group of female friends. One of them just turned 60. Some of them are parents, some of them aren't, some of them's kids are much older than mine, some of them chose not to have kids. We are a very diverse group, and it's really interesting because these women do things without me, and I introduced all of them, and I really like that they go to Lady Gaga concerts and I don't go with them, and I like that they do those things and that they don't need me to be friends, and I think that says a lot about that group of women. But they also, they cheer me on, they support me. I got like 4 text messages earlier saying, is it over yet? Are you okay? Can you breathe? Because I've talked to all of them this week and said, you know, am I gonna like bomb? And they're like, no, it'll be great, probably. It'll probably be great. And so, but they're the ladies that I bounce ideas off of. They're the ladies that I call and say, do you think this art project's gonna work? And they're like, no, but you should totally do it because you'll figure out a way to make it work. And I'm like, okay, great. They are supportive, and they're always intentional, and they're sincere, and they're also all type A, which is crazy. I would imagine there's a lot of type A people in this room. But we all cheer for each other. We're our biggest cheerleaders. And so you all have already made a different community than what you were in before you started this group. And these contacts and friendships and networks that you guys have made since you've been here are incredibly strong. And that's what that group of women is for me. So what I wanted to say was, strong women will cheer you on. Strong women will sincerely congratulate you for your successes. Strong women want nothing but the best for you. So be a strong woman and surround yourself with other strong women.
Right.
Thank you.
Let's give her another round of applause. Okay, it appears that the microphone is. Never mind.
I'm ready. I've already
All right, can you hear me now? No? Microphone's on. Okay, let's try this one. How about now?
Yes.
Oh, yes. They used to say back in the day, now we're cooking with Crisco. All right, I'm not Cari, but I will surely and happily read Cari's comments to talk about Miss Kennedy. And as she says here, when Andrea and I called to tell Kennedy that she had been elected to deliver class remarks, she was thrilled. She really wanted to. I believe she said it this way, quote, I put it out there and it came back to me. And that's Kennedy, positive. So I asked some of the other amazing women in this inaugural class to send me some of their thoughts about her. One said, her positivity and personality draw you to her. Her generous spirit, giving nature, and charismatic personality are all aspects of Kennedy that make her a leader, a friend, and a great resource to have in the community. Truly amazing. She knows exactly what to say. I love that her heart is as big as her personality. Kennedy exemplifies a fine leadership characteristic. She is self-directed. She identified herself as a leader in our class very early and hasn't skipped a beat. She has my vote every day and twice on Sunday. Everyone needs a Kennedy in their life. She takes the time to make everyone feel important and heard. She pulled me to the side to thank me for my comments at the Mountain Home session, which made me feel good. You can go figure out who said all this later. I truly appreciate her positive and caring nature. She was diligent in connecting with each of us and made every session better by taking moments to celebrate, laugh, and of course a selfie. I especially appreciate her encouragement to be boldly who we are. Kennedy is such a great leader. She is always looking for a way to encourage others, speak words of affirmation to those when she sees something positive. She loves to acknowledge the work of others and cheer for them. If she sees something wrong, she asks questions to seek understanding or to offer ways of building bridges no matter the social or economic status of the person. She is not afraid to dive in and find common ground with anyone she meets, thankful to call her friend. And then finally, a quote from John Maxwell. Leaders become great, not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. I present to you, Kennedy Rizal.
Okay, I am kind of nervous, especially after that, and I want each and every one of you to know that I really appreciate your kind words. I really appreciate everybody's relationship that I was able to build with you, and I'm gonna miss everyone. Okay, I'm Kennedy Rizal, and I'm part of the first class through Arkansas State University's AWDLA Women's Leadership Academy. I'm blessed to stand here today as your graduation speaker for 25 phenomenal women. I'm blessed because any of these women in the room were ready and qualified to complete this role, but you so graciously voted for me to speak about our journey. I started writing this speech in May. When I spoke, inspired I was about this experience. My cup was being filled by my classmates, leaders, and all the wonderful speakers. My friend Yoshara said, manifest and believe, and the role is yours. When I started taking notes, I was already one step ahead. Completed the next journey by voting for myself. Yep, a woman who once shied away from the spotlight voted for herself. See, like most women, I've always been able to inspire other women and keep them motivated, but it was time for me to toot my own horn. We should all learn to stop saying, why me, and start saying, why not me? We cannot fully lead with constantly doubting ourselves. As women, we must stop focusing on the past challenges that women have. We should focus on the accomplishments of women in our own personal success. People may say you're bragging, and some may say you're boasting. We all know being a woman is the hardest job in the world. As women, we should only strive to be better than ourselves. Look to others for motivation and not competition. However, life is an ugly race, but it does not have to be. For women, it's not as lonely as at the top as it once was. We have grown in so many companies. There is still space for us in all companies. So when you earn opportunities like that, make sure you walk with dignity and pride and know that you deserve to be there. We all have great classmates. Walk in those opportunities, planning to get as much as you can out the experience. Network with your classmates, leaders, and speakers. It's part of the journey where you have to make sacrifices and you also have to take risks. As women, we nurture, we love, and we give, but we still have to take the responsibility to keep our own cup full. I'm sure you heard you can't pour from an empty cup. This is wisdom you use to encourage women to have me time and make sure that you have self-care. As we go through our lives as wives, mothers, entrepreneurs, supervisors, nurses, and whatever roles we carry, we cannot wait until our cup is full. Continue to keep a full cup. Being healthy leaders is very important. It's about keeping our energy alive. You wouldn't wait until your blood pressure gets low to take your medicine, right? Okay. You wouldn't wait until your car went dead to get a battery, right? Okay. You wouldn't wait till your heart stopped to go to the hospital, right? Okay. So let's stop beating on ourselves. We need to make sure that we bet on ourselves through the good times and the bad. Every woman has hit rock bottom at least once or twice. Can I get a round of applause for that? Okay. Commit to not letting it get that far. Eliminate all the stereotypes and all the biases and think about the things you have already accomplished. We have such a diverse group of women. As we move up, remember that everyone is not your assignment. Can we say that together? Everyone is not your assignment, okay? Kevin Hart said it when he said, sometimes your stories can inspire, but sometimes they can cause you to live in a box. Does anyone want to continue to live in a box? Okay. Keep working on you, and in the right moment, you will attract what you deserve. Shonda Rhimes committed to a year of yes. The reason why she committed to a year of yes is because she wanted to be able to inspire her daughters to take risks, say yes, know when to say no. That's very important. Steve Harvey even authored a book when he said, act like a lady, but think like a man, okay? But when Steve had a purpose, it's time to go for those promotions, request those large salaries, sit at the head of those tables, and at the end of the day, you are still a lady and a leader. Arkansas State University brought in some amazing women to inspire us during our meetings and our outings. We were honored to learn that we all inspired each other in ways we would have never known had we not been chosen carefully and intentionally to serve as the first inaugural class of the Delta Women's Leadership Academy. Although we've all experienced painful fears and setbacks, this experience helped us to realize we can accomplish anything we want to do. We know that by our amazing projects. Let's give ourselves a strong clap for those amazing projects. So, guess what? We can't wake up every day feeling sorry for ourselves about the things that didn't go right or the things that we wanted that we didn't get, okay? We are blessed to learn so much about our personalities that we need to start embracing those things and learn that we are prepared to be leaders and followers. Yes, we have to wait our turn. We inspire our children, our families, and our communities. We are imperfect while being powerful, resilient, and impactful. If you have to make a difficult decision between multiple women, do not feel like you have to pick a side. Advocate for the best woman for the job. It will all work out. When you see someone doing what you love to be doing, or something that you would like to have, guess what? Reach out to that lady, ask what's going on, encourage yourself to do what she's doing, but make a connection. Life is not about a competition all the time, okay? I want to understand that support, you all to understand that support comes in many different forms. It's not about supporting people because of the color of our skin, maybe their economic status, or maybe even their gender. Because, you know, we like to connect, oh, it's kind of, we have something in common. That's good. You need to be able to justify the reason you're helping someone. You know what I'm saying? So you make sure you pick the best person for the job instead of always focusing on things that you always have in common. Okay? We were blessed to have opportunities to make small groups. Some of us had larger groups when we got together. Some of us made personal connections. I know I tried to make sure I made a personal connection with everyone. That's okay. Many connections were made, and meeting each other was a great opportunity for us. One of our beautiful classmates was so excited about these experiences that we had, she actually showed up a week early for an assignment.
They went to the wrong hotel yesterday.
And that's okay, that's okay. But the thing about it is when we had those kind of opportunities, we were on the phone and texting who has somebody's charger, who has somebody, how will you get here, who needs a ride. That's what made this opportunity such a special one. I mean, we really got a chance to connect. I remember when I was accepted into the Leadership Academy, and my dad said, those names will be in lights. Sorry. I remember when I was accepted into the Leadership Academy, my dad said my name would be in lights one day. I laughed, but now I understand what he meant. Every single woman in here has a bright light. The goal is to make sure that you believe on the inside that your light is a bright source, and you carry it, and you carry yourself the same way on the outside. It was great that others see the light, but for you to safely pour into others and become successful, you must believe in your own light. This Leadership Academy, from start to finish, from speaker to speaker, to every single encouragement from our classmates and fearless leaders, Dr. Cherisse Jones Branch, Miss Cari White, and Miss Andrea Allen, we all officially found our light. You should listen closely, because you will hear these names again. As I call your name, would you please stand? Juanita, Katrina, Amber, Brandy, Erica, Leanne, Tessa, Yolanda, Jade, Monique, Christy, Ashton, Carla, Bailey, Tara, Jaylyn, Janie, Ashley, Kennedy, Lacey, Caroline, Stephanie, Alicia, and Jeanette. These are the women who will continue to make history and will not be defeated. Now go be great. We have so much love among this group. Thank you for the lifelong relationships built. I will never forget this experience and the doors that it has opened for each one of us. I love you and I appreciate you for selecting me for the speaker of this amazing group, President Kennedy.
President Kennedy. Great job.
If you don't mind me writing your speech, I would greatly.
Okay, I think there's no stopping the Arkansas Delta if you put leaders together like President Kennedy over here and Governor Rockefeller.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'd now like to ask Annabeth Gorman to come back to the stage. Please welcome back our CEO of the Women's Foundation. She's going to read off the names for the awards, and when she calls your name, if you'll step right over here, we'll have your award and your certificate for you, and then we'll take pictures down here. So thank you.
I'm just gonna use my voice. Is that okay? Is everyone comfortable with that? Great, thank y'all so much. Kennedy, if you want to call me every day and give me a pep talk, by all means, I'll give you my number, so you can give me my pep talk, but congratulations, and again, I'm gonna call everyone's name. You're gonna come down front, you're gonna grab this beautiful, vase, it's a beautiful vase. So we will begin. Juanita Acosta. Katrina Brown. I'll slow down. I'll slow down. You know what? Just go, take it, girl. Take it. I love it. I love the enthusiasm.
You look good, lady.
Erica Cooper. Tessa Cry. Dr. Amber Grady.
Taking that leadership role serious. Thank you, Katrina.
Katrina, that's being a leader.
I got you.
Randy Hodges. Leanne Hoskin. Trina, you make a great Carrie.
No, other way, other way. Flick her certificate. There you go.
Yolanda James. Jay Kennan. Monique Levy.
Hey, and I wanted to recognize that sooner or later, Jamie Scott came into the room, and of course Monique works for her, so just wanted to know his
The youngest female senator ever. We're on Ashton Lockley.
like, let me get on my toes.
Carlisha Murray Tizinger. Jalen Perkins. Bailey Caracone. prestige. Janny Quillen. Ashley Reed. President Kennedy Riddell. Lacey Robinette. Laurie Stevenson. Tara Thomason. Caroline White. Stephanie White. Mayor Stephanie. Alicia Williams. Jeanette Youngblood. Congratulations to the 2024 inaugural class of the Arkansas Delta Women's Leadership Academy. If y'all set the bar high, we'll see, right?
much for that, Annabeth. Again, let me extend my heartfelt congratulations to all of you, from family, friends, other guests. Thank you for being here with us today. Natalie Rockefeller, thank you for your words, your encouragement, and your guidance. Go forth, do great things. Before you go forth, we're gonna take a picture. We're taking a picture. After that, go forth and continue to do good works in the world. Safe journeys to everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.